All right, fam, I'm sorry I'm not wearing any makeup in this video, but Ginny didn't wear makeup either, and you know what? Me and her are just gonna twin today. And I'm also gonna crouch. How do I put this chair down? First of all, I just want to preface that I didn't finish the books in elementary school because my school had AR points My school had AR points, and you had to get like 100. You had to get like 50 by the end of the month. And the Harry Potter books, you know what? They take too long to read. I'm sorry. Okay, so Dramione has a lot of fans. And you know, people are pirating the Manacled book on Etsy. I mean, it's a big ship. And also, I have not read Manacled either, so I don't know anything about Dramione. But in the films and likely the books, almost all of the interactions between Hermione and Draco are filled with heavy animosity and dislike. Mainly on Hermione's part, but also Draco, he kind of provokes her a lot. Yet somehow everyone thinks they'd be great together. Where's this coming from? And I understand the appeal of the whole enemies to lovers genre, but the basis of that type of relationship is an obsession or subtextual infatuation with the other person. And to me, a great example of this is Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl. Blair always thought Chuck was below her, although she thought everyone was, but
See, no one's gonna believe that. What, that?
the relevant piece of information is that there was always a fascination on either end. Chuck thought Blair's wit and bite were intoxicating, and Blair thought his deception and manipulation of other people was very impressive. So this was an incredible foundation for a romance. But with Hermione and Draco, Hermione's never vocalized or indicated through her actions that she was ever in awe of Draco, thought him to be interesting despite his flaws, and she was never really interested in him. And a lot of people might point out that she talked about him a lot throughout the movies, but her reason for bringing him up was pretty much always Harry. She talked about Draco when he was tormenting Harry. When explaining to Harry who Draco is and why he is the way he is, she discussed him when Draco provoked their friend group, and obviously he was a hot topic when they were in the great battle with that guy with the no-nos, right? And an important part of that was Draco's family. So essentially we're painting the narrative, which in my opinion is very much factual, that Hermione's primary reason for thinking about Draco is Harry. Her and Draco were never friends, and they wouldn't have even necessarily been enemies if she hadn't met Harry first. And besides the reasons within the text and script, aka plot-wise, as to why they don't have a good foundation for a romance, Hermione's overall sentiment towards him and personality just doesn't match up with Draco's, like whatsoever. Hermione strongly values the black and white in the world, at least more so when she was younger, before the later films when everything got so dark. And she's obsessed with moral code and rules. And I'm not saying societal rules within institutions or the government, since we all know she breaks a lot of school rules for the plot, but her reasons for doing so stems from seeking the right thing for others. She's not doing these things because she enjoys rebelling like Harry does, but instead because it's the necessary channel through which she can accomplish courageous acts of good. She's just being brave like any Gryffindor. Okay, I was about to start rhyming. She's just being brave like any Gryffindor would. Shoot me. Okay, I'm just gonna jump into another ballpark. Guys, I think Draco's a little, I'm cringing myself out. I think he's gay. Okay, fam? I don't think there's any question about that.
Is this me? This must be me. This must be because I'm gay, but I'm not gay, Jake. I don't know what the f I am.
But we have zero canon indication that Draco or Hermione are attracted to each other. And if you're gonna pull up, you know, the Dramione YouTube video compilation of him just trying to kill her, that's not the proof you think it is. Okay, that's not the proof you think it is.
Period.
Right. So let's get to the good stuff. Drarry, not Huckleberry, if that's what was on your mind.
Whitaker, got a minute?
Yeah.
You sicko. Anyways, so Drarry has a plethora of basis for the ship, and I'll get into it, but the fact that it's been #1 on AO3 for like the past 15 years, I think speaks for itself. From the very first film, Draco and Harry share intense feelings of hostility towards each other, and I think on Draco's part, it's because Harry is the physical embodiment of the perfect wizard. Yet he's not really a part of the world, is he? Because his parents died, and I think it bothers Draco deeply that Harry doesn't fit the societal mold and status quo that his father has ingrained in him. So the only tie to the wizarding world that Harry has is himself. since he doesn't have that, blood family still alive. And Draco was probably disturbed that Harry did everything so easily without being raised and taught endlessly like himself. I mean, it's not that he got perfect grades or anything, but I mean, he was doing the Quidditch and...
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm the head boy. Sorry. Never gonna do that again. Okay, Harry obviously dislikes Draco because Draco dislikes him and is disrespectful towards him. Just vice versa, right? They both dislike each other. So now we've also established the rivalry between them is the result of Draco's deep insecurity, which people at face value might just mistake for them simply being enemies. They might just simply mistake it for hatred, but honestly, it's the way I'm trying to do my teleprompter right now. Harry is consistently and constantly obsessed with Draco. What he's up to, in a mischievous, heinous sense, who Draco is, what he's wearing, and I don't know, Harry just loves thinking and looking about Draco. I mean, that scene in the bathroom. Well, he did try to kill him, but if you take that part out and you just look at the scene. You'll see what I mean. Gotta stop rhyming. Okay, now a lot of the Drarry fix, rely heavily on Draco's personality doing a 180, and people like to say that writing Fanon Draco doesn't make the ship any more valid, and I mean, that's true. But what I haven't heard people say is that Draco's real personality doesn't lie within the actions he commits throughout the series, but it's really something beneath the surface. And a lot of people subscribe to the sentiment that you are your actions. So essentially, if you inflict cruel and mean acts on others, then that makes you a cruel and mean person. But I also think it's important to remember that we can change our actions, but we can't change our personality. Draco is naturally insecure, quiet at times, and loud and confident when people boost his ego. He's inherently ambitious and intelligent, but the majority of his cruelest actions were either forced upon him by Voldemort and the Death Eaters, or learned from the example his father set out for him. And it's not simply just Draco mirroring his father. We see from their first year at Hogwarts that when Draco is with Lucius, he's walking on eggshells. This is an emotionally abusive man who constantly corrects and orders his son to be a certain way. More so emotionally abusive when he gets older. He wants Draco to... my teleprompter. It's giving Drewski. Sorry.
I'm gonna read it. You read it. Joke. Kev, I ain't gonna lie, I can't see that far. Right
okay,
there.
all right, okay.
I ain't gonna lie.
Anyways, the man with the long blonde hair bust down, he wants Draco to reflect the Malfoy family image in history. Okay, it's giving white supremacy. White supremacy. Anyways, now in the books, they kind of explicitly make it clear that the Malfoys were not a physically abusive family, or that we shouldn't interpret them as abusive, but in my opinion, any father who corrects his son's good behavior to lean more into pride and cruelty is still not a healthy parent. And a good example of this is Trumpies, Trumpy kids, mini Trumpies, right? Because they learn from, okay, I don't want to get into it though. I don't want to get into it, but that's like the best example I can. Okay, we're gonna be done talking about that. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Okay.
No, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
And yes, every child learns from their parents, but the difference is that we judge Draco for the actions and behaviors that he was essentially pigeonholed into doing by the blonde bust-down man. So when Hermione gets tortured by Bellatrix in the second to last film and Harry's beaten and battered, essentially unrecognizable, Draco spares him. And we're not going to give him too much credit. But I don't really think Draco... We're not going to give him too much credit because he could have done more, and that was bare minimum. Okay? You need to expect more. We should all expect more from our boyfriends. Okay, that was really bare minimum. But I don't really think Draco ever hated Harry. They were just hostile towards one another. And I want to emphasize that I'm using the word hostile to define their relationship rather than the word hatred, because hostile is defined as unfriendly or antagonistic, and Draco was written to be Harry's antagonist, a foil to him, which is why he's constantly bullied by Draco. They dislike each other because Harry disliked Draco in their first
What would you do if when you okay, so he said yes would go?
From Harry's first impression of Draco, he didn't like him, and Draco's he's just crazy, okay? But I don't really think that Draco ever wanted to see Harry truly suffer. So even when Draco's at his worst, there's still this inexplicable tension and want between him and Harry. Draco is secretly, or maybe obviously, fascinated and obsessed with Harry, and Harry feels the same way. It's not crazy or out of left field to see a strong chemistry between them, and have Dramione ever had more than animosity towards one another? Draco calls her slurs, is unkind and unsavory towards her, and yeah, he was horrible to Harry too, but a lot of the cruelty stemmed from jealous and misguided interest in him. At the end of the day, Hermione has more chemistry with Ginny than Draco.
That felt good.
Yuri, classic Yuri. Okay, I'm sorry. Harry was initially supposed to be in Slytherin, and I think a lot of his more abrasive moments are closer to Draco's personality than anyone else's. They're both... I just ran out of storage, so we're gonna have to make this quick and fast. Just like Drarry.
I'll kiss every guy, man and woman. Look at that guy, how handsome he is.
Now, gotta turn the teleprompter on. Now, they're both stubborn, headstrong, and I already said that. But the clearest difference between them is that Harry is a free thinker. He was raised by horrible, selfish people, yet his mind always remained independent from his environment. And that is the trait that sets Harry apart, the same trait that made him the chosen one. And Draco's cowardice was to his detriment. He didn't necessarily redeem himself in the end, but that's not to say that he wouldn't or couldn't have after his family was no longer serving the Dark Lord. He'd have to go out on his own and decide what kind of man he wants to be. And that's the version of Draco that people imagine with Harry. And that's the version of Draco that people imagine being worthy of Harry. As my closing statement. That was creepy. Characters don't both have to be perfect or completely good-natured people to be good for one another. Their individual flaws are what makes the relationship more interesting. But at least at the basis of Drarry is a deep-seated desire and interest, one that neither party loses for each other throughout the films and books. And that's why Drarry will always be the better ship. And I'm going to end the video now, because I'm starting to look worse than Ginny.
Do you have burning questions running through your mind? Do you want to know the answers about the universe, time, love, or the trivialities of pop culture? Well, you've come to the right place. The Thought Bunny is an entity, a space, a girl. The Thought Bunny has an answer to all of your biggest questions. So ask away.